Hello everyone and welcome to the Smashi Business Show. Today is Friday, November 14th, 2025 and I'm Abdul Majid.
And I'm Warid Badawi, and we've got a packed show for you today. So first up, Majid El-Futtaim has rejected reports claiming a possible stake sale. Arada has invested 60 million dirhams in Australia's viral Brooki Bakehouse, and the Giving Movement has appointed Rania Masri El-Khatib as its new CEO. And there's some really exciting news. Beastland, Mr. Beast's park, has finally opened in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Did you see the launch?
It was so amazing. The funny thing, very interesting thing for me was that he walked and there were people and he actually walked like a Hollywood star, giving high fives and touching fans. Fans were actually going crazy. I think it wasn't, even if you look at the crowds, it's not only Saudis, it's foreigners also who came and jumped in, and now
Crazy.
I think there's a lot of chances to win money. That's the main attraction, I think.
I think for me it's so before the park was inaugurated, as we saw, and he did it with the Syrian influencer Aussie. He was there too, the Dubai-based influencer. We got these photos. We got the press release photos of what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
It looks exactly like them. I think that is what I find crazy. Like, you know, when it's like we always hear of these surprises that Mr. Beast loves to tease with Turkey al-Sheikh in Saudi Arabia, but to actually see it come to life, and one of the first, I think is something so exciting. It's like, this is Mr. Beast. This is the most followed person on YouTube.
I think it's time to book a ticket to Saudi Arabia, go and win some money, so I can retire early. But jokes apart, I think it's just one of the attractions that we've seen Riyadh season add, and every year they keep adding on. I remember Rich said a very interesting thing about Riyadh season, that it's not just a season now. It has a life of its own even when it's not happening. So we know that it starts around when the winters start and it shuts down around when there's not enough coolness outside to stay outside, because it's mostly comprised of open areas. But apart from that, even when it's not happening, the parks are closed, something keeps happening with Riyadh season. It's maybe sometimes it's a boxing match happening inside an AC
or
area.
a tennis match.
There's so much happening that it has turned into a brand itself. It's not just like Global Village. Not saying Global Village is bad. I'm just saying that kind of it started on the same note, that there is a season when it starts and ends, and then the rest of those like 2.5, 3 months, no one talks about it. But Riyadh season, everyone talks about it. We talk about it. We do all the stories that come up. I think Turkey al-Sheikh is like 90% of Riyadh season for us now.
Crazy.
Whenever there's down period, nothing is happening, he keeps it alive. So it's kind of a symbiotic relationship between Turkey al-Sheikh, the General Entertainment Authority head, and Riyadh season.
But he is making it happen, and he deserves credit for it. Like we saw how recently Majid, they had the Six Kings Slam, and you had one of the best tennis players in the world walk out with $6 million, $1.5 million of that just for participating. And did you see that, like that golden tennis racket? I mean, there are so many rewards that come out of this. And then, by the way, the week right after that, you had the famous singer El-Khatib come and perform for all the Saudis, and it's such an entertainment hub. It's so much happening in one place, and I think that especially for Saudi Arabia, this is something to look forward to. And I think for me, Majid, it stands out to me because of the partnerships.
Yeah.
The partnerships there, and the fact that Six Kings Slam, it was streamed on Netflix. There are so many foreign investors and groups actually involved in this, and I think it's really beneficial for Saudi's economy.
Yeah, and Syed Asar official is commenting. He's like, any new business ideas in UAE? Sir, if you have any new business idea, tell us, we'll start it. But apart from that, just to give you a hint of what Beastland will look like, it has theme park, it has rides, it has challenges, it has everything that you can imagine in a small theme park. It was built, I think it was announced, 1.5, maximum 2 months ago, but they've built up everything so quickly. It shows you, one, there is speed in whatever Saudi wants to do. And I would like to say that NEOM, maybe it is delayed, but they want to build something. If they want to build something, they will build it. Beast, the whole area, Beastland, is just a small example of Saudi Arabia's ambitions, that they want to just do anything that is technologically, operationally, logistically right now possible.
But I think also we need to give a bit of credit to Mr. Beast, because I think, the fact that he is branching out of his usual zone in America and he's coming to the Middle Eastern region because he understands that this is where all the attention is right now. He didn't just open a park in Saudi Arabia. We saw how recently they announced the 1 billion acts of kindness. So Mr. Beast is actually collaborating with the 1 billion summit, like the largest creator conference in the world, I would say. And that in itself, that collaboration, who's he working with? He's working with the Varki Foundation, who's owned by who? Sunny Varki, the founder of GEMS. And he's also working with this foundation that's backed by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, the Dubai ruler. So I think the fact that, we're seeing Mr. Beast be a little bit smart about this and come and collaborate with all these players, I think that, he deserves credit for that too.
Also, I think he's just following every businessman. We do stories like this guy is coming, this guy is coming. It was about time that the biggest YouTuber also came here. Everyone is coming to Middle East. I don't know, a million times we've talked about this, that everyone wants a piece of the Middle Eastern capital cake. Everyone wants, even if it's the cherry on the top, they'll take it. Everyone is coming here because right now they know the money is here, not in terms of only investment, that people will invest in your idea, in terms of people having money to spend. So people have a good buying power here. That is why everyone wants to come. I think your sister joined. I just saw
did?
Basma,
Hi, Basma.
right?
How are you?
Joined. So yeah, hi sister. But I think we should keep taking names so people keep staying with us. So yeah, those are also, I do have business idea. If you're available, we can connect. Sir, send us a message on Smashi Business.
Please do.
But yeah, coming back to our main stories.
But just to move to the first story of the day, the Dubai conglomerate Majid Al-Futtaim has firmly denied a Bloomberg report suggesting it may sell stakes, pursue an IPO, or make changes to its ownership structure. The company called the claims entirely inaccurate, unfounded, and misleading in a statement issued to the Khalij Times.
Very interesting story, because the group owns 29 malls, including Mall of the Emirates and the City Center network, along with 7 hotels. As one of the UAE's largest family-owned businesses, Majid Al-Futtaim serves more than 178 million customers every year, making any speculation about ownership highly significant.
The denial comes as a government-appointed judicial committee continues restructuring the company's board. This process began after the death of founder Majid Al-Futtaim in 2021, raising questions about the group's long-term governance and future decision-making.
And despite the rumors, the company stressed its financial health and strategic stability. It pointed to stronger investor confidence. They also highlighted, which is highlighted by a recent $500 million hybrid bond issuance that was oversubscribed more than 5.5 times, with a yield of 5.75%.
Majid Al-Futtaim confirmed that no changes are planned to its ownership, governance, or business operations. The conglomerate says it remains committed to its integrated ecosystem model across retail, real estate, hospitality, and entertainment, positioning itself for continued growth in the coming decade. I think that this story is very interesting because, the reason why we're talking about this, a company denying a report, it's important because investors pull back, foreign investors pull back when they see reports like this. It's very dangerous for a company's image, for Bloomberg to come and say that, they're considering selling a stake, because when companies are considering to sell something, they're trying to liquidate. They need more cash. Why would they need more cash? So I think them coming out immediately, responding, great PR. I think that's great PR.
Time is very good with this. Once we did a story and they came out, I was like, it's factual. If there is a factual mistake, tell us. If it's not, it's a story. But Majid Al-Futtaim, there's also one point here about Bloomberg. We read a lot of it. We cover a lot of stories from Bloomberg because they do exclusive. Reuters does so many exclusive. All the big giants that we know, they do exclusive. We try to cover them as much as possible. The thing about them is when, like obviously coming from journalism background, I was always taught that have sources and then ratify the story, show it to someone, always have like at least two sources that say the same thing. What I have seen recently is like so many reports by these publications are being rebutted. So I have started questioning the idea of exclusives as well. I remember AGBI did a story about Dubai airports, the operator of both the airports, the Al Maktoum airport and the main Dubai airport. They are planning or thinking or wondering if they can go for an IPO or same story. To be honest, nearly the same story as Majid al-Futtaim, that maybe a stake sale, maybe this, maybe that. They're considering options. And immediately, Dubai airports came out and they were like, no, completely wrong, absolutely wrong. Bloomberg, this story happens. There's like the Benghazi story that they're looking for an IPO. That happened. Bloomberg reported it. We contacted the Benghazi people. They said we'll comment on it. They didn't come back, but then they sent a rebuttal to everyone that no, it's not happening. There's so much happening right now. I think the idea of these big publications going for exclusives, I think they need to stop it.
Really?
Yeah. It's not that they're wrong most of the time or they're right most of the time. I understand. For example, let's take example of Augustus Media. For example, we have an internal conversation about, maybe Augustus Media goes for an IPO, right? If this conversation happened and someone from the team goes out and tells the reporter that, this conversation happened.
That's what I think
right?
happened here.
Exactly the same thing is happening, that someone from that group who knows about it goes out, tells publication or a friend journalist that, we had this discussion. That doesn't mean that it's going to happen. Okay, good for reporting that maybe there was some conversation about it.
That's why you're saying it's possible.
Yeah, but just wait for it to happen, because if Benghazi wants to go for an IPO, I think Mohammed Benghazi will clearly say that we have a 2-year timeline, 5-year timeline. If they're not, they will not talk about it. Will Ahmed's story yesterday we did, 2 years. He said, in 2 years, I am looking at it. Let them come out and say it. People are very open with communication nowadays. The companies, they are very open about the communication. So I think the idea of these exclusives, specific this category that, they talked about it. Okay, so what?
Yeah.
What do we do with that information?
I see what you're saying. I think also
it's just disturbing the market, right?
I see what you mean. I think also in this case, Majid, it's not any market. You know,
Yeah.
this is a company that directly impacts the UAE's tourism. You know, you can't underestimate how big Majid al-Futtaim is. You know, its stores, its franchises, they're all over the malls. The malls themselves. So it's when you think about it, and especially the recent news that we heard. Basically, over the summer, I believe, or earlier this year, Majid al-Futtaim appointed a new board. And we saw that. They got this new guy, this new chairman, Fadl Al-Ali, I believe, to lead this board. And this board is now made up of 9 people. 4 people who are members of the Al-Futtaim family, and 5, I believe, new foreign members of the board. But that in itself, that was like a shakeup. That was new news because, you know, this is governance. They're restructuring things. And that in itself might, to some investors, sound like, you know, there's trouble in paradise.
Yeah.
So for that news in itself to come out, and then for this one to follow right after, I think that in this case, you have to do your due diligence and be slightly careful because MAF is so important to the UAE because, as I said, you know, people are coming to the malls, they're coming to the attractions that MAF creates. So I think with this one specifically, it's a bit of a tricky one, but I can't blame the writer. It's a juicy story, it really is. But yeah,
honest,
I agree with your take.
I'm not completely against it, but I don't see any utility in it now. Because if someone has a plan, the companies have become so good at marketing, PR, their comms. Some of them are still bad. They don't hire PR companies. They don't have any. But majority of the companies know that their communication with external investors, with media, they have teams over teams, agencies over agencies who are doing this for them. If you're doing such an exclusive, I'm talking about this story. I'm not against exclusives. They're the best thing that can happen to journalism because you go out, you talk to people, you find stuff. It's really kind of an exhilarating feeling for a journalist. But this specific kind that, oh, they talked about this. The only problem is maybe it was just a floating discussion. Maybe they were looking at options. They have a very good habit of Bloomberg, Reuters, give them credit as well, that they write very clearly that this is very initial stage of discussion that happened. There was no decision taking. They very clearly say it. Then what's the point if it's a very initial level of discussion? Let it become concrete and then report on it. I will 100% be. But we do cover it.
Yeah.
We also cover it. But
no, I agree with you on
and
that,
kind of
Majid.
like, I think it's 1%. I think it's important as well. It keeps the companies on their
it keeps them on their toes.
Yeah, that
yes, it
please,
does.
if you have anything, don't hide it. Don't keep it to yourself. Just tell someone.
Yeah.
Go give an exclusive to someone.
Exactly.
But yeah, that.
But there is something right now happening that is very concrete, set in stone. Arada has invested 60 million dirhams in Brooki Bakehouse, the Australian bakery brand that blew up online thanks to its viral cookies and massive social media following. The deal comes through Arada's newly created hospitality and entertainment division and marks Brooki's first major external funding round.
And founded in 2022 by Brooke Bellamy in Brisbane, Brooki Bakehouse has built a global fan base of more than 4 million followers. The bakery regularly draws long queues for its cookies and celebration cakes, turning it into one of Australia's fastest growing food brands driven by creative-led marketing.
For Arada, this investment reflects its ambition to expand beyond real estate and grow global lifestyle brands. The developer launched its hospitality and entertainment arm in 2024, aiming to scale food, retail, and leisure concepts that align with its broader communities and long-term diversification strategy across the UAE.
One of the comments that just came as thoughts on your recent post by Nikki Phulwani. We'll talk about it after this story, 100%. But Brooki will begin its UAE expansion later this month through pop-ups in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Al. They already did. She did pop-ups.
In Sharjah Entrepreneurship Festival.
World actually met her. So these will serve as the brand's first international locations. The move also marks Brooki's transition from a local Australian bakery into a regional player supported by a major Gulf investor.
The rollout continues in early 2026 with 2 flagship stores planned for the UAE. Brooki is also preparing a wider global expansion the same year, using Arada's resources and platform to enter new markets. Both companies say the deal sets the foundation for Brooki to grow into an international lifestyle brand. I mean, you know, Brooke Bellamy, I'm so excited for you. This is so amazing. You know, I spoke to her in the beginning of the year at Sharjah Entrepreneurship Festival, and you know, she broke the news to me, but not many people paid attention to it then. Smashi didn't have that much followers. It's all right. And she told me that they would, in fact, expand into the UAE with a real estate company, no less. I'm surprised about that one. I think that's a very interesting diversification move from their side. But the way that I'm thinking about it is, in fact, they could open Brooki stores in each of their communities that they already have. Like, you know, in the community centers.
I think, very... To be honest, read the story and I was like, am I reading it right? It's a real estate company. Arada? Okay. I was like, okay, makes sense. But they made a whole division recently, like end of 2024. They were looking for what to do with that division. And they finally made one investment. I think someone would have met Brooke Bellamy at some of the event, ate her cookie and be like, this is a good idea. This is a good investment. Usually things happen like this. That is why all the events in the UAE are networking events. Mainly that's one of the things that's always there. Whatever is happening, this guy is speaking, but networking. So I think these networking things work. Our next story is also about kind of a networking thing, how this lady went from one place to another. But it's a good investment, I would say. Brooki is famous. I asked 2 or 3 people yesterday. I was just like, does anyone else know? Because you told me about Brooki Bakehouse. I didn't know about it. I was like, let's see if
she's pretty
2-3
famous
people
on
know.
TikTok. She's really famous on TikTok. And I think for me, Majid, with this story, it really does remind me of the Amar billionaire, Mohammed Al-Abbar. He did this exclusive with the Financial Times, a very well-written piece where he basically said that he's looking to expand his food, his entertainment divisions. So, if you don't know this already, he's the Americana chairman that has a franchises such as Krispy Kreme, KFC, and he also
Wendy's, I think, also.
he also owns Al-Abbar Enterprises. And Al-Abbar Enterprises, under it comes a group that is actually behind really famous concepts like Clay, the one in Dubai Mall that opened, the Paratha Burgers. It's a really famous one right now. But he basically said in that interview, Majid, that I am looking to expand within the region, buy about like 3 brands that are homegrown. And I remember I had a discussion with Rich about it, and he asked me like, which companies would you recommend him to buy? Honestly, now that I think about it, I think the independent food company. I don't think Amal Al-Marri and Deem Al-Basim will allow it, because I think that their business on its own, it's doing really well. But I think the fact that he said that, and now we're seeing Arada, this real estate company, jump in for Brooki, first in the line, and the fact that it's her first expansion out of Australia too, and and she understands that she needs to come to the UAE. I think that's great.
Yes, makes sense. Everyone is coming. I think all day today in the show we've talked about it. Someone is coming to the UAE. Everyone is coming to the UAE. But let's talk about a homegrown brand now. UAE-born fashion label, The Giving Movement, has appointed Rania Masri El-Khatib as its new CEO. She brings more than 2 decades of leadership experience across the region's luxury sector. Her career includes founding the RMK Collective, it's art collective, serving as chief brand and marketing officer at IMI Holding, one of the media giants in Abu Dhabi, and senior roles at Shalhoub Group.
El-Khatib is widely credited for launching Level Shoes, one of the region's most successful luxury retail concepts. Speaking to WWD, she said her ambition is to see a UAE homegrown brand worn around the world. Now, her appointment signals the brand's next phase as it scales beyond the Middle East.
The move comes at a strong moment for the GCC luxury market. The sector grew 10% in 2023, more than double the global rate. Growth continued into the first quarter of 2024 with a 7% increase, positioning regional brands for accelerated expansion and international visibility.
Saudi Arabia has also launched an $80 million fund to support regional designers, creating new momentum for homegrown labels like the Giving Movement. Now, industry analysts say this influx of capital is reshaping the competitive landscape and opening doors for Gulf-based fashion companies to scale globally.
And founder Dominic Noel Barnes is stepping back from daily operations after building the brand's purpose-driven model, which has donated millions to global causes. I think the last number that I saw was whatever they sell, any piece of clothing that they sell, they donate $4 out of it. So if it's a $300 piece, $4 go directly to charity, and all of them are Dubai-based, Dubai Cares, all these charities. The Giving Movement now operates 13 stores across the Middle East and ships to more than 150 countries, marking its rise as one of the region's fastest growing fashion brands. Yeah, and I think she's a very nice, we usually don't do appointment stories, but I think we did the one where Revolut appointed a lady. She's worked with so many brands. We try to find a person who's actually done a lot in the region.
The new Talabat CEO.
Yeah, the new Talabat CEO one we did. So we try to stay away from them because a lot of them don't make sense. But people who've actually done something in the region and then they go on and join a good brand, it's a good story to tell that this person has been here. Again, the driven dreamers, doers, not only the people who everyone knows, some people who don't. She actually follows us a lot also. Yesterday Rich was telling me about it. I was like, oh yeah, she follows us. So this was an interesting appointment. It's a big brand. I just have a problem with the pricing. They're too expensive for me. Maybe I'm poor.
I completely agree
so
with you,
we both are
poor. No, but I completely agree with you. And you know what this honestly makes me think of? I know that this is kind of a far stretch, but PwC, remember the new appointment that they had, that new director that I believe that they chose for the Middle East, Majid?
Yeah.
So if you don't know this, PwC is banned in Saudi Arabia. It's advisory services specifically, but they'll be on track next year, 2026. The number is already sounding really crazy to me. Like, it just sounds like 2016, but not the point. They had a restructuring, an internal restructuring, and I think that with these internal restructurings, the reason why we discuss them is because of the fact that one person can make or break the difference. You always wonder if there was another head in Saudi Arabia, would they have still gotten banned? I think for the giving movement, this is interesting because there is more to come. And the fact that she came from Level Shoes. In fact, Level Shoes is actually under Chadhoub Group, which is interesting. So I think we're seeing a lot around fashion nowadays. We really are. Like, we saw the story of Karen Wazin, the famous Lebanese influencer, one of the first to really go big in the influencing world. She's launching her eyewear brand in Egypt. So I think we're definitely seeing a lot happening there. Bella Hadid was recently here for the Ulta Beauty opening. This is exciting.
Would you say it's something to do with that number that every minister in the last, I think, 2-3 months has been telling me, and in every panel session, that nearly 40% of the population is under 40, or nearly 30% of the population is under 30, or nearly 70% of the population is under 30. There's so many numbers floating around. The main idea is that there's so many youngsters in this region now, in Saudi Arabia, in UAE, all these youngsters, and they love to wear nice clothes or brands, right? You think it's the young
people? Yeah. I do think it's the young people. Oh my God, Majid, I went on my LinkedIn and somebody that I went to school with has dropped out of school. Yes, dropped out of university and got funding for their startup from Y Combinator. Nice. And I was like, whoa, what is going on here? Time to start a startup. I definitely think that it's probably the young energy, perhaps, but I also think it's the fact that there's so much money here. There's so many sovereign wealth funds here, so many venture capital funds. Because of that, there is so much opportunity, and there's also people who actually do want to invest. They do want to give you that opportunity. I think that's what it is. I know that usually when we bring up this case, we bring it up in a negative way, but I always remember at Builder AI, how they basically got big funding from Qatar's Sovereign Wealth Fund, over $200 million. And then, we find out they went bankrupt, they closed down, they actually weren't using coding, they were using these engineers in India, these computer scientists. But I think my point with this is to say that they take the risk. Yeah. I think in the end of the day, it's about taking that risk. It doesn't work out. There's so many more investments to come. Yes. Did you see how Saudis, they're investing in this augmented reality company? I think you worked on the story, Majid. It was this augmented reality company. I think it's based in America, and they're losing money. They're losing money, but Saudi Arabia has invested in them. And I think it kind of ties into that point of they're really taking risks. They want to be a part of everything.
Don't remember the name of the company, but they build glasses for basically equipment for people who have disabilities, who have arthritis, who have disabilities or sicknesses where movement is very important for them. Wow. So they build it, and then they can move their hands and think or be in an augmented reality world where they are like, okay, we're doing this, we're climbing and all that. So movement for them. But that company pivoted literally. They were into games, and then they pivoted back to health technology.
That is so
but then Saudi was like, no, we see an opportunity. Wow. So just before we leave, since we promised, Nikita Pulwani, one of the agencies, Mumkin, they have a grand opening next Wednesday, I think, in Al-Quoz. She wrote a very interesting LinkedIn post, and it was like, pay the SMEs on time. So I think we did Najla Al-Midfa, the Shira head, vice chairperson, and she also talked about it. That is why it was kind of a good follow-up that there is a problem. She says that some payments have been delayed for now 6 months and up to 18 months. It's a whole year. Literally, people paid her in she did work for people in 2023 end. They still haven't paid her.
Seriously? So, is there nothing the court can do about this?
Yeah, that is what she's asking. That is the question that she posed to everyone. We did the story from her angle that people need to pay the SMEs because they run on that money. To be honest, we also count ourselves as an SME. We don't earn in billions of dollars. We are an SME. We're part of that 94% number 94% of the registered companies in the UAE are SMEs. So we are part of that. We understand it also. Maybe sometimes I think the finance department and the commercial team can give you a better highlight on what happens in our company or for all SMEs. But it's been a topic of discussion now for a lot of time. And I think there will most probably, as soon as the government thinks there is a problem, they will come up with a solution.
Or maybe they already have. You guys need to check. And that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into the Smashi Business Show. Make sure to follow us across all social media channels at Smashi Business and stay ahead with our daily newsletter. You'll find the subscription link in the description.
And this has been a Smashi Business Show, a Smashi Business production, part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. A big shout out to our more than 2 million monthly listeners across all platforms. You make this possible. If you're one of them, we appreciate you. We read out a lot of comments, took a lot of names. Keep commenting and we'll keep giving you people a shout out. Have a great day and we'll see you on Monday.